Hello, my name is Buma Alabi. I'm a senior advocate of Nigeria and I'm also the chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association section on legal practice. Been the chairman for the past 2 years and I'm about to hand over to the next elected chairman. Largely continuity because the SLP has been very, very well managed and organized by the previous chairs. And I really just wanted to continue that, perhaps get it to be more active in the sense of us using technology more to deliver trainings and webinars to our members. So the first thing I did with the help of the committee, and I had an excellent committee, worked very well as a team, was to reorganize the sub-committees of the section to reduce the numbers and make them a bit more efficient. So, for instance, we created a litigation committee where we collapsed 5 different committees into one, and so on and so on. So, yeah, that's, and then selected very carefully the leadership of those committees, because the work of the section is really done through the committees. So that was the first thing. And then secondly, we wanted to get to different parts of the country, because the Nigerian Bar Association is the Nigerian Bar Association, not Lagos Bar Association or Abuja Bar Association. Well, working with my colleagues, because remember we're a team, NBA-SLP. One, we wanted continuity, because the section has been very well done so far in the past. And we also wanted to build on the good work that had been done by our assessors. So that was really the vision: continuity and strengthening and enhancing the work of the section. Well, we actually took the vision and tried to make it a practical reality. So, for instance, when we started this 2-year term, the first thing we did was collapse. We had quite a large number of committees under the section that weren't really active. So we collapsed a number of them into more manageable committees. For example, the litigation committee we currently have is made up of 5 previous committees. And we combined the Human Rights and Family Law Committee and a number of others like that, because the section really works through its committees. So we also ensure that we selected the best, the very best, to lead each of those committees. We invited Osmo Isaiah, SAN, to lead the ADR committee. We invited Tony Cook, SAN, to lead the litigation committee. We invited Marcus Fernandez and Nemesis DK to lead the Law and Tech Committee as chair and alternate chair, Nancy in charge of family law, Atumba Lauli in charge of medical, Shola Wibula SAN in charge of the Constitutional and Administrative Law Committee. And then obviously ensure they had a good team around them. And after that, really, it was Bob's your uncle. They ran with it. The other thing we did was to provide the appropriate infrastructure. So the section subscribed to a meeting platform on an annual basis, which enabled committees to hold webinars and virtual meetings all through the year for upwards of, in some cases, over 1,000 attendees at some of these meetings. So it meant that we were really active at pretty low costs. As a matter of fact, we initially started off at absolutely no cost to both members and non-members of the SLP, just so they could get a taste of what the quality of the workshops and training that we're providing. And then once we had established that, we made it a members' benefit, because it's only fair that members who paid something for the upkeep of the section get this these trainings for free. So you become a member's benefit, and if you're a non-member, you could no longer attend for free. For how much do we charge to become members of the section of legal practice? Very, very little. 5,000, 10,000, 9. For the value you get for the benefit, it's just incredible. But our mission is not to enrich the section. It's purely to have sufficient to run it. And so we've kept the secretariat lean as well, try to keep our overheads down whilst delivering maximum value to the lawyers who are our members, and because the lawyers could see the benefit of membership. And I'm very glad to say, and this is the first time ever in the history of the section of legal practice, that our current membership is in the thousands as opposed to hundreds. That's one of the big steps forward we've made in the past 2 years. My guiding principles are, I can summarize it in one sentence. I, as a lawyer, I'm as good as the worst lawyer that any Nigerian citizen or any client ever deals with. So it means that the standards of my colleagues, of everyone in the profession reflects on me, and the perception of my professionalism by non-lawyers. Therefore, it's the mission and the guiding principle is to equip all of us, all legal professionals, all lawyers, to provide legal services at the very best standards possible. I say all the time, there's no such thing as a Nigerian lawyer. You're a lawyer full stop. And we aspire to global standards. We benchmark with global standards. We should be able to work to those standards. And for me, that was the driving and guiding principle in working with the SLP, in serving in this role, to train and continue to train and enhance our professional development so that we can deliver the best services to Nigerians who deserve nothing but the best from us as a profession. My most significant accomplishment, I would say our two annual general conferences that took place in Kano and Plateau were really momentous and significant, because the SLP had never been to Kano, and that was a first. We had full cooperation from all of our regional colleagues, and also many lawyers practicing in the southern part of the country came to Kano for the first time to see just how safe, how beautiful, and how traditional that big city is. So that for me was a defining moment, because I've always said it, Nigeria is bigger than Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt. We have beautiful cities, we have beautiful people, we have beautiful customers across the country, and the diversity is really what makes us so special. So Kano was an opportunity for Nigerian lawyers to experience that diversity, experience the true Kano hospitality, and unforgettable. Then we went to Plateau State, and it's just so naturally blessed, so beautiful. It's a natural tourist destination, for sure. The plateau, the weather, the food, the people, the culture, they had, it was simply amazing. Traveling to Jos was also quite an interesting experience, because I went by road, and just seeing Nigeria along the way, that was amazing. I found, that our colleagues who came as delegates to those conferences, one, they got to know a bit more about their country. Two, they learned a lot, because we had the most amazing speakers. We had a huge array of very accomplished speakers, both lawyers and non-lawyers. And that was a big plus for all of them. What else do I think is a defining or something special about the past 2 years? I think the regularity of trainings, for instance, Law and Tech Committee delivered well over, I'd say, nearly 20 or more trainings in the past 2 years. The Litigation Committee, we had an in-person workshop here in Lagos, and then we had the hybrid one, and so on. The Family Law and Human Rights, also amazing work. Our ADR team have actually delivered one of the most important model rules or directions for practice in mediation, court referred mediation. That required a lot of consultation with judicial officers, with stakeholders, under the able leadership of Isaiah Bismo, SAN, and of course with his team. It happened, and I'm glad to say that rather than each of us trying to reinvent the wheel. So I'm very, very happy with that. I'm very happy that the SLP could deliver that for the profession. Of course, we also delivered directions on data protection for lawyers, how to use and navigate around the Data Protection Act and ensure that we don't fall foul of requirements in our practice. And again, that was something that the section of legal practice gave to the profession. So yes, we've as a team done quite a bit in the past 2 years, and we're very happy to be handing the baton over to the next team to build on what we have achieved. Our biggest challenges, well, one, we had to strengthen our secretariat, and we had to find the funding to enable us to do so. Fortunately, I met quite a lean purse at the SLP in terms of finances, and we had to be very, very careful how we manage that. And fortunately, thankfully, we're living a much healthier situation than we found, and we're able to strengthen the secretariat as a result, and also get the vital technology tools we needed in order to have host our webinars and our workshops. Now this is not a reflection at all on the previous leadership. I was very much a part of it, and this is the beauty of the SLP. The SLP transitions, generally speaking, from vice to chair. Obviously, that was culture in the past, that was our convention, and things have since changed in terms of the NBA election rules for the sections. However, I still commend that to the section, and indeed to the Nigerian Bar Association at large, because this is how it works in the law societies and bar councils in most of the Commonwealth common law jurisdictions. And we find that continuity does help. So I was very much a part of the past administration under Chief Ferdinand Obi, SAN, and I know how much effort and how much work he put into leading the SLP and getting us to where we were by the time we took over the baton from him. We had a very successful conference under his tenure in Asaba, and so we've been very fortunate at the SLP. NBA-SLP has had excellent leadership from inception, and I'd like to think to date, and will certainly continue to have excellent leadership going forward? None at all. We concluded everything we started, and so it's a question of either deciding to continue with the format and template we've set out, or doing it differently. What lessons? I think what I have done is pass on my lessons, because I have led various bar organizations in the past. I was chairman of the Association of Nurse Listers in England and Wales. I was president of the Commonwealth Lawyers Association. And in comparison, leading a section of the Nigerian Bar Association, it was a double. That's the only way I can put it. But I certainly brought the experience I had from these international roles to play in doing the work and serving the bar here. One of the first things I did was, look, you don't have to micromanage. You have trusted team members. Give them their job descriptions, give them your expectations, your KPIs, and let them get on with it. And that's exactly what we did. And I think that's led significantly to the achievements in the past 2 years, because they were just able to run with the assignments, knowing that they had my full backing, and they could make decisions without having to come back every second to cross-check and double-check and so on. And then leading without an ego is also something I would commend to us here. We're a very egotistic society, and we need to perhaps be less so in order to work in a more collegiate manner and get our team members to feel empowered enough to really give us their best. My advice to the incoming leadership of the Nigerian Bar Association section on legal practice would be to, by all means, always do analyze where we are. Look at what's working, and keep it if you feel it's working. And look at how you can enhance what we're already doing and build on it. That's what I did, and that's what I hope they will do. The good thing with the section of legal practice is with the strengthened secretariat, there is institutional knowledge, there's institutional history, and therefore it just makes it easier. When you have a strong secretariat or stronger secretariat, it makes it easier for the elected officers. You have to remember they're all busy practitioners with their own practice, and it's a volunteer position. Nobody's getting paid for it. So the more support they can have from in administration, the better for their mind. There have been moments engaging with young lawyers, bringing them on board, sponsoring them to come to our conferences, and seeing how they grow and just appreciate the mentorship and support from their seniors at the bar. I have found extremely good. Serving as chairman of section of legal practice, how has that influenced my personal growth? Well, I have learned patience. I'm told patience is a virtue. It's not one of my virtues, but I've had to learn to be a bit more patient, because it just is the fact that you work with people of different abilities and different levels of comprehension, and so you do have to meet people where they are in some cases. And that takes patience. So that has been one of the things I've had to sort of try to take on board. Fun thing about me, I love dancing. The young lawyers call me the dancing SAN. So usually when we have our, back conference, the annual general conference, of course, the Friendship Center was an innovation that we, under the leadership of Mrs. Adekoya SAN, put together for the first time. This is a fun fact that some of you may not know. When Akeredolu was the president of the bank, may his beautiful soul rest in peace. So Akenti was our president, Mr. Adekoya was the CPC chair. First Friendship Center was here in Lagos. We had live music, we had the army market, and I was right there dancing with all the young lawyers and so on. And then, of course, we went on to Unbad with Professor Konya Ajayi heading the planning team and so on. So, yeah, the young lawyers call me the dancing SAN. And that's what I do. We play hard, we work hard. That's the ethos of the bar. My advice to young lawyers is, please, this profession grows and thrives because all of us care about it and are willing to serve. Not everything is, about naira and copper and pennies and pounds. It's, important that you put yourself forward to serve your profession in volunteer capacities. You'll be surprised at just how rewarding it is and how much can grow from just giving and being available to serve the profession. So that would be my advice to you. And also, don't look at, this is, don't take the easy way out. Always strive for excellence. Always self-examine and see how you can do better professionally. Don't wait for an external critic to say, well, you could have drafted better, you could have communicated better, you could have advocated better in the court. This is, don't take the easy way out. Always strive for excellence. Always self-examine and see how you can do better professionally. Don't wait for an external critic to say, well, you could have drafted better, you could have communicated better, you could have advocated better in the court. Check your performance, check your delivery, and improve on it every time. There's always room for improvement. That's the biggest room in the building. I am still improving, I'm still learning, I'm still growing. And I've been in this profession for nearly 40 years. So please, that's my advice to young lawyers. That's what guides me. And I commend it to you. What can I say? I have come, I have seen, and as they say, I have conquered. Now, that's a joke. On a more serious note, it's such a privilege to have served the Nigerian Bar Association section of legal practice, its members, and the wider bar in this capacity. I, of course, could not have achieved an iota of what we did without the help of the excellent team that worked with me during this 2 years, eventful 2 years. We worked seamlessly together. We shared the same vision. We shared the same ethical compass. And it was very, very easy to achieve because I had achievers all around me. My thanks go to all of them. To Frank Briggs, our treasurer, to Oros, and to Prof. Akon, of course, the vice chair, and I'm just naming them, a little older, Mrs. Fabashidali, SAN, to Stanislaus, and everyone, all the team members who worked with me to make these 2 years impactful, fun, and just harmonious period of service to our noble profession. I thank you all. And of course, I thank the members of the section. I thank the Nigeria Bar Association for giving me the opportunity to serve. I thank the past presidents, YC Mekel, ONSAN, and the current president, Mazi Afam Sigwe, SAN, for working very, very harmoniously and cooperating with me in this period of service. There is nothing I've asked of them on behalf of the SLP that they have said no to. They've made themselves available to help the section, and I really am grateful for the cooperation and the support of the two presidents of the bar that I worked with in this period.